Right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get any? What was that?
Honest to God,
What is going on? I think it's this crazy weather. You know, you go from 70-something degrees over the weekend, the rain and snow on a Wednesday, and of course it's Wednesday because we're on I can't even talk straight anymore. We're on the air live.
It's the weather.
See what happens when you get up early in the morning?
It's the weather.
Of course, I'm your host with the most, and bing to the zing, and
You gonna be
boom.
singing
I have no idea what I'm even talking about. I'm Sal Angioletti, of course, and to my left,
Gavin Wall.
Matt Siriani.
what's going on, gentlemen?
You know what? It's actually nice to be driving to the studio and it's still somewhat light out. It's not pitch black dark, and we're only getting closer and closer to it.
Oh yeah,
Leaving the studio, and it's starting to be nice out. So daylight savings, I think, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Thank Jesus, because
Oh, actually, Saturday.
Saturday.
Is this
Wait,
Saturday?
Saturday's
This Saturday, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I cannot wait for that.
Oh,
That's great.
Finally, the Rock. No, Mike.
Thank God. But unfortunately, we're not getting our way right now just because there's no baseball. So, we're going to make the most of it. And now I look at myself in the mirror. I look disgusting. I look fat. I was teasing it a couple of weeks ago with me doing yoga and getting into baseball shape. I'm doing a real good job with that. But, we'll take it one day at a time. So March 9th, wait till April 1st. I'll be 10 pounds later.
Okay.
I'll be 10 pounds later. Matty Ice, though. There was a lot going on today, right? Before the show?
Yeah, we had a lot going on before the show. So I want to give a shout out, and this will be edited, and this will go on social media.
Don't mess up.
Well, it already is.
So Lee Mazekian, who is the owner of Outback Steakhouse in Middletown, met with me, Sal, and Big D. The four of us had a discussion, and we also got to meet the managers also. Jim Kelly and Joe Lancaster.
The football player?
No, Jim Kelly. His real name is James Kelly, but I call him Jim.
Okay.
We met with those three, and it went really well. We talked with them, and they're all in for us having a show there on a Thursday, particularly May 19th. Thursday, May 19th, we're thinking about having a show there. Lee is great. I've worked at Outback for a long time. It's great there. The employees, like 90% of the employees that I worked with from 2015 are still there to this day.
Beautiful.
That just tells you how good management is. Lee talked about getting involved with No Limits Cafe. He talked about getting involved with some local businesses.
Awesome.
There's some
which we need.
He's talked about how Middletown High School North and High School South sports teams, they come to Outback all the time. So he's all in for us having a sports show. And we're going to have a follow-up meeting later on this month or early April to set the final details in of when we're going to have a baseball show at Outback Steakhouse in Middletown.
Oh, we got a birthday weekend also coming up that week, so a lot to celebrate.
Birthday weekend?
It's my birthday.
26?
Yeah, I got to start paying my own insurance now. But,
oh, my God.
Yeah, so we'll be celebrating the final days with a bloomin' onion and whatever. But hopefully we'll have some baseball season or some baseball coming up.
We need to go on our trip in July.
I don't know if we're good.
All right, well, I can give you guys an update. I was just checking Ken Rosenthal's Twitter, and here's a live update.
Who do you believe?
Nobody.
You really can't believe anybody at this rate. All right. So here is the live update that I just came into. This is from Ken Rosenthal's Twitter at 5:59. So this is just before. All right. So it is difficult to know what dollar values the sides attached to the international draft or eliminating qualifying offer. Industry sources estimate qualifying offer to be worth $50 to $100 million annually. Just because one side links two issues does not mean they are identically valued. There is the league proposed option for the qualifying offer to remain intact, and for the international amateur system to also go unchanged. But in that scenario, the big question for players becomes, is the rest of the deal enough of a gain without eliminating the qualifying offer?
Oh, boy.
Okay, but wait a minute. Why do the owners want the international draft and the players don't? Is the question. That's what's holding back this meeting right now. What's wrong with the international draft that we don't know
I
about?
thought there was nothing. There was no issues about it.
I
Can we
thought
just
there
get
was
a
no
deal done? Let's just get a deal done.
I'm not
second
getting.
year or second season in 3 years that we got to go through this shortened season, and it's not going to get any better. I've had that hot take for quite some time, but we also have a guest tonight.
We
to
do.
talk this
We do.
baseball season, and it's Jake Robinson.
Yeah, everybody thought when I posted this that
Jake,
the wrestler was coming on. I go, I don't know him. I know this old man right here wearing an old-fashioned Montreal Expos hat. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only from Backwards K, Jake the Snake Robinson.
what's going on?
What's going on,
How you
buddy?
doing?
I have to ask: have you interviewed Jake the Snake Robinson by chance?
He's one of the few people I have not interviewed, actually.
Oh, we got to make that work now.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I know we got some connections, but or we can figure it out. But Jake, just because we're starting getting to know each other now, how long have you been in the podcast industry, or deciding to talk baseball? Like, what got you into doing this?
Well, it's been probably 6 years now. And to be honest with you, I have a pretty solid baseball room on Facebook. And I noticed that the guys in the room were getting a little rambunctious, so to say, always attacking each other. It seemed like they were a little bored. So I just started doing, highlights and stuff like that. It kind of snowballed into that, started doing an interview kind of show. And, it's, I also took some time off, you know what I mean? Had to kind of reevaluate what I wanted to do at a point here. This last time, I basically, I've had options. I worked, I was a public announcer for the Myrtle Beach Pelicans last year.
Oh,
which
very
is a
nice.
low A team for the Chicago Cubs. And honestly, I could have went back this year, but I love podcasting so much, and I believe in this new show that I have that I'm pretty not going to go back to the stadium. I'm pretty much doing this almost full time now.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's everyone's dream at the end of the day, right? When you start a project like this and you want to make it.
Yeah, it really is. And I'll tell you something. It's kind of been a trial and error thing, and I'm sure it's been the same way with Sal and you guys. You kind of figure out things as you go along. I think that one of the first things that I figured out that I was doing wrong was, you got to have a podcast show where it's relevant enough for people to go into your archives and watch or listen to shows that you've done before. I find that if you do topical shows, no one really cares 2 months from now about what the score was between the Rangers and the Mariners today. So you got to come up with something compelling to make people kind of go back through your archives and to make the thing grow. And I find that doing this, what I'm doing now is these biographical and educational podcast show. I find it's more compelling. People will listen to, like, so to say, I did Moses Fleetwood Walker just a couple of days ago. They'll listen to Moses Fleetwood Walker and be like, oh, that's pretty good. Let me see what he said about Roberto Clemente. And I think now the show is just much more compelling, and you have much more reason to go back. And once you hear a show, say, oh, okay, I like that. I'm going to listen to more. And I think that's where I'm at right now. It's taken me quite a few years to figure that out, actually.
Nice.
No,
Right.
it's all trial and error. And were you doing anything prior, like career wise, or were you like always attracted to this business? Obviously, you did some work in Myrtle Beach in the past,
Right.
and even present today. Did like going to school for journalism or anything like that?
I never went to school, but back in like the late 1900s or 1990s when I still lived in Baltimore.
You look great, by the way, from the 1900s.
Thank you.
What's the secret?
I don't even know, man. But a lot of baseball and a lot of moonshine.
Oh, yes.
In the late 90s, I had my own radio show in Baltimore. It was a sports radio show that lasted for about 3 years. And then once I kind of lost that job, I kind of realized that I was really like this little fish in a big ass pond in Baltimore City. And so I kind of like gave it up at that point. But once I kind of moved out and started traveling a little bit, I've lived all over the United States at this point. And I find that once I got to like a smaller town where I live at now, that the bug kind of just hit me, and I did some radio work around here, but I like the podcast because it's my show. It's I'm the boss.
Right.
And if anything goes wrong, it's all on me. And if it goes right, it's all on me. So I kind of like it better when I really love podcasting, quite honest. I really do. It's just taken me a while for it to build up and where I can make enough money where like, okay, now I could consider this like a job. And I'm finally at that point in my life now.
Wow, congratulations. So what started with the Backwoods K? And I love the name. I started following you on Podbean, and some of the episodes you have are like, wow. You got Nolan Ryan, the Ryan Express, and the one that hits us close is because we're Yankee fans and from New Jersey and New York is Steinbrenner, the boss. And everybody remembers that. Yeah. 73, he bought the Yankees from CBS and all that.
Well, here's the thing, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I love doing the research on each topic because it gives me clarity, and it also gives me, like I grow up as an Oriole fan, not really keen on the Yankees, not really keen on George Steinbrenner, you know what I mean? But now when you go back and you really look at George's life and you take a step back from your fandom and you're like, wow, that dude right there, is just, I have the utmost respect for George now. Was he a perfect owner? No, he was not. You will be hard pressed to find a perfect owner. But what that man did as far as bringing the Yankees mythos back, because in the 70s, it was a lagging brand. CBS owned them. The stadium was always half empty. They treated the team like it was a Sunday kind of rerun, throw Tigers in there. And, so I think CBS did a real disservice to the Yankees, but I think a guy like George Steinbrenner, just an unbelievable winner. That's the best way to say it. And, it's funny because he really had a legitimate shot to owning the Cleveland Indians.
I was about to say, people forget he's an Ohio guy and grew up loving the Cleveland Indians.
And I tell you, there is kind of like, and I say this on my show a lot of times, I call it the butterfly effect moment. Had George Steinbrenner decided to had the owner decided to sell to him, he was in on the deal. It looked like the deal was going to be closed, but the owner's name, his name was Stouffer. He was actually like the microwave kind of TV dinner magnate. He owned Stouffer's meat or Stouffer's food, and he kind of worked George Steinbrenner out. Like he told him one thing and then did a whole different thing. But I wonder, like, had Steinbrenner owned the Yankees, it would have been interesting because now the free agent would be controlled by a Midwest team. I don't think that Steinbrenner was successful because he was in New York. I think Steinbrenner would be successful in anything that guy did. He is that freaking good.
Yeah, and people forget, they take, you take advantage when you live in New York City and grow up for a big team. And of course, we know the 70s and then the 80s was just a hot mess. And then 93, 94, things start picking up. And George passed away after 2009. He was able to get one last championship ring, even though he wasn't really running the team. And here we are now. We can't stand his kids who, it's a hit or miss, but at the end of the day, you got to remember that look at all the success where you don't see it anywhere else. People come and go in different cities.
And it's funny you say that because when George Steinbrenner was first thrown out of the league for the whole Dave Winfield debacle.
Yes.
Yeah, the Winfield Foundation.
It was actually a Tigers game at Yankee Stadium, and when they announced that George was, at this time we thought he was banned, right? So when they announced that he was done, the whole Yankee Stadium exploded in cheers. They were like, they were happy. What I'm pointing out is that baseball fans are fickle. Today you might hate those kids, but let's say you guys win a World Series if we ever start a season up again. That's going to change their whole outlook on who they are. And I think Steinbrenner was tough enough to handle that. He knew that there's high expectations with the New York Yankees, and there's people expect you to win. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day.
He hired and fired so many managers. If he smelled one tiny smell of failure, you were gone.
Yes.
I mean, giving Yogi Berra, and they didn't talk for 15 years. He fired Yogi Berra, Yankee legend, and all down the list, prior to Joe Torre.
Yeah, and Billy Martin was his favorite.
Seen him. Yeah, you guys have seen him a lot more than me. I think towards the end, especially after he came back from that suspension and he saw that the team was getting a little good, he didn't bring back Buck Showalter. He went out and he hired Joe Torre, which people lambasted that move. They thought it was a horrible move. And, I think that once Torre came in, it almost feels like George was kind of surrendering at that moment. Like, okay, man, I trust you. You've had some success here. And let's just say George Steinbrenner in the late 90s is a totally different animal than George Steinbrenner in 1978. And I think
it's those Seinfeld cameos.
All of us, right?
So those Seinfeld bits.
Right. It's probably true about all of us, right? I mean, we all grow and we all mature. And I think to some point that Steinbrenner definitely evolved through time. And it took a while. And maybe taking the thing that he loved so much away from him and then seeing the success that was coming after he was, on the outside looking in, I think it had an impact on him. I think it really, really had an impact on him. And I think he saw another side of how to be successful. Because like you said, he was trading the Jay Buners and the Lighters and all these young prospects that could have helped you guys out in the future.
He wanted to give up Mariano Rivera at one point, and Derek Jeter, Andy Pettitte.
Right. He changed the whole outlook of that team. And if I'm not mistaken, 1973, didn't he get the Yankees for like just $1 million?
$10 million.
Oh, $10 million?
Yeah, well, actually,
whatever the price was.
Actually, it's always been reported that it was $10 million, but actually before he died, George let everybody know that it was really $8.8 million. And what happened was when he bought it for $10 million, CBS decided that they wanted the parking garages back, which was part of the deal. So he sold the garages back to them for $1.2 million, and it came out to $8.8. And I believe that George Steinbrenner's initial investment was about $180,000 in cash. And really, when you think about it, I'm not saying it's as good as giving away Manhattan for some freaking beads and trinkets, but it's pretty much one of the greatest business deals ever done. I mean, I would put it up there with what do you call it, the Jefferson when he bought all the land out west. I mean, what an amazing deal.
A good investment in the long run.
I lost my train of thought there, but I mean, it may not be the selling of Manhattan, but it's certainly right there with the Louisiana Purchase. It's one of the greatest deals ever. $8.8 million. You only paid $180,000, right? And now it's worth $6 billion with a B.
Unbelievable.
It's got to be like one of the greatest deals ever business deals ever made.
So Georgie was the first owner to go after free agency, if I'm not mistaken. Catfish Hunter.
The way that he was aggressive with it.
Yeah, Catfish Hunter was the first guy right from the Oakland A's, I believe.
Here's the thing too, if you remember when the Yankees started coming to power in the late 70s, it took them. They lost to Cincinnati, right? But here's the thing: the Reds, after being so dominant with the Big Red Machine, all of a sudden, there are two teams going in different directions. The Yankees are like, okay, we're going to play this new free agent deal. We're going to go out. We're going to get Catfish Hunter. We're going to go out. We're going to get Reggie Jackson. And instead of doing that, the Cincinnati Reds were like, well, you guys just too expensive at this point. We're going to get rid of Pete Rose. We're going to get rid of George Foster, Joe Morgan. All you guys can go. And that was the difference. That really was the difference. The Reds decided they weren't going to play the free agents game. Therefore, they're out. And the Yankees decided they were. And that was a huge momentum swing going into the 80s.
Yeah, and then they got Bobby Mercer, Lou Piniella.
Right.
They made a lot of big moves. Winnie,
Mm-hmm.
That was the 81 strike season, and Dave batted 1 for 31 in the World Series against the Dodgers first.
Sounds like the present, or not the present Yankees, but when you got A-Rod, like the trade, and then you get Sheffield and Giambi and all these guys, they just never showed up in October. So it's kind of like the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, and it's funny, and everybody goes, "Oh, the Yankees buy championships," but if you see the years that they made the playoffs and then lost them, the year like you said with the Giambino, okay, Sterling, I called that one. Mike Mussina. You had such a great team, but after they got over one of the humps, and that was it. They got it back in 2009 after they got CC and what's his name, the other pitcher,
AJ Burnett.
AJ, what happened to that guy? He disappeared off the face of the earth or something.
Right.
He had that one good year, and then he just couldn't handle New York in the long run.
Nobody can handle New York. Look at Randy Johnson. He was a Yankee for 3 seconds, maybe
2 years.
Yeah.
And then that reporter and him got at it, and that was it. He was gone.
Well, and it's funny because I'm not sure which one of you said it. I believe. See, I know Carl. Carl's not there tonight, right?
No.
I know Sal and I know Carl. But I believe one of you said a really poignant thing last week. You were saying how Major League Baseball is dead. It's dead in the water. And
it was Matty Ice.
And I got to tell you, man, I'm right there lock and step with you. And I just think it's a damn shame the way millionaires and billionaires cannot figure this out. I mean, it is unbelievable. And I would say this, man. I don't know about you guys. I think you guys probably live near the Brooklyn or Cyclones,
not too far
maybe.
from Brooklyn.
No,
that's my original stopping grounds. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm here on the island, so I got the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, I got Charleston River Dogs, the Cubs and the Rays, respectively. The Rays.
The Staten Island Jayhawks.
What's that?
The Staten Island Jayhawks. You're not far from them.
Yep, and Coastal Carolina as well. So the way
now, is there a team still in Savannah? Is there still a team in Savannah?
I'm not sure. I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, my bad.
There could be one there, but I just think that Major League Baseball needs us. We don't need I don't need Major League Baseball. I got 2 minor league teams in Coastal Carolina, right around the corner from me.
That's just like us. Yep.
And
we got the Brooklyn Cyclones. We got the
Somerset Patriots.
Somerset Patriots is a Yankee farm team. We had the Staten Island Yankees. They are Somerset now, which were Trenton.
There was the Trenton Thunder.
Yeah. So we got
Trenton Thunder. Sure.
So who we got? Lakewood Blue Claws is the Phillies.
Right. That's the Phillies, the Lakewood Blue Claws.
The Thunder's now the Blue Jays AAA. Or no,
not anymore. No, they're not the Bisons anymore because they went back. They're allowed back in Canada now. So
yeah.
That was a fiasco all in itself.
The reason why I brought this up was because I did another show in my pods. It was the death of the 1994 Montreal Expos.
I saw that on MLB Network, that story.
Yeah. I had a great podcast show on that. You guys should check it out, man. There are a lot of correlations to what's going on today as to what was going on in 1994. And it's scary.
Because, and we spoke about that the last time.
There are small market teams like the Montreal Expos who got thrown, who basically, that was the death of them, the 1994 strike. And
right.
God forbid that there's a team that Oakland, Tampa, they're always nominees to be moved, right? So hopefully they're not, I know my Orioles, they're a small market team compared to the Yankees and the Red Sox. And well, not so much the Blue Jays.
Well, there's still history, with Baltimore. They're in the Cowboys in the 70s.
But, a strike hurts Baltimore way more than it hurts New York. You know what I mean?
Oh, hands down.
If the Orioles aren't making money, they're losing money. And they're losing money big time on this.
Right.
Well, their ownership's a mess right now. I know the owner. What is he, like 90 years old? It seems like the kid's nothing.
No. Peter's gone. Peter's gone. He's not the owner anymore. He doesn't run anything anymore. He hasn't had anything to do with the Orioles for probably the last 3 years. It's now the sons, and the son,
there you go.
John Angelos, and his brother. I can't remember what his name is, but the thing that I do like about them that Peter never did was they actually care about the farm system. And Peter never cared about the farm. He always wanted to go out and buy, the Nate McClouse and the freaking Chris Davises of the world. And this guy, Elias, comes in and is like, no, this farm system is a mess, and it was a mess. And we have concentrated the last 3 years on just stocking the farm system. And I know it doesn't show on the major league level, but all of our minor league teams were pretty freaking good last year, except for Tpday. And those players are still from the Dan Duquette regime. So the future is bright for the Orioles. Just the major league product that they're putting out there right now is not very good. Most of their promises is below the major league level. So,
and that's the thing right now with Baltimore. And you mentioned how, with Rob Manfred's not doing any favors for the league and the fan base and all that. And Baltimore, I mean, I'm not saying that they were on pace to win a division title this season or even next season, but it does hurt when you finally have some luck and some momentum going on your side in the minor leaguers. And again, minor leagues are going to be happening, but the fan base doesn't care at the end of the day. Right. If I can get Major League Baseball, why do I care about Joe Schmo, the number 13th prospect, for example?
Right.
You always have
like you said, it does hurt us, and I'm sorry to cut you off. It does hurt us. Like Adley Rutschman, probably, the headlines say this guy is going to be a catcher that's, top shelf liquor. And when you're not playing and he's not getting time now that he's, pretty much on this 40-man roster, he's not getting minor league time. He needs at bats. We need to get this kid going. We need to see what he has and if he's ready, So, yeah, it definitely hurts guys. Like it really hurts us because we got young, solid players that should be playing baseball right now, and they're not. And that's the shame of it, We got a lot of goodwill in Cedric Mullins and Ryan Mountcastle. We're hoping Adley Rutschman can come along. We've got a bunch of prospects. I mean, the pitching doesn't look that great still on the lower levels, but the hitting is going to be phenomenal.
Let's be real, though. At the end of the day, when you go watch minor league baseball, you want to be entertained offensively. Of course, if it's a top prospect, but at the end of the day, it's all about seeing the ball get hit.
Right.
And how your top prospects are going to be. And if you guys are just tuning us now, we are talking with Jake the Snake Robinson, host of the Backwards K-Pod. And Maddie and I were talking last week and a couple weeks ago, and we're trying to figure out how to get our baseball fix in. And if that means us coming out of retirement just to start playing baseball and all that. And
think I could do it at 55?
I mean, can you do yoga and Pilates?
No, I may not be able to get up. I'm lucky if I walk up the stairs without being out of breath.
Oh, jeez.
I can still pull it off.
I actually,
Sal can pull it off. He's kept himself in pretty good shape over there. I think he's doing right, Sal.
I think Carl's in better shape than me right now. I'm walking up the stairs and I'm feeling tightness in my left hamstring. It's just like, good God.
I got that meniscus pull and everything else on.
See, Kevin, here's the key. I started doing this recently. You have to get on a treadmill every day. I don't care what day it is. Do 30 minutes on the treadmill every single day.
30 minutes?
30 minutes. Here's why. I added this to my Lent because this is what I decided to do this for Lent. That's why I'm in good condition. So, fun fact for Lent, you could add something, not take away. You could take it away, but you could also add stuff on too. I decided to add on cardio and take off dessert.
Okay.
That's what I decided to do. And also cut my portion sizes down, and that's why we're not doing the pizza eating contest. We promised a pizza eating contest.
Oh, so it was your you're the reason why we didn't have
it's my fault.
I was fasting today. Thanks a lot.
Hey, listen,
half a pizza.
So the owners should watch you, man. You seem to negotiate things pretty well in your head. Okay, I'll give you that. You give me this. That's the way.
You know what, Maddie? I see. He knows. But trying to get our baseball fix back, and the fan base, as a 25-year-old, Maddie's in his 20s as well, there's no interest. And people that are even 10 years, 20 years older, they're losing interest. So I just don't know how Rob Manfred and producer CJ, who's behind this, he looks great for 28, by the way. So
is he?
No, but how can we get the fan base to come back? How can Rob Manfred convince the young generation, hey, this is America's pastime. This isn't America's joke, as the majority of us feel right now?
First of all, they need to get it done like now, today, tomorrow. They need to get it done, because every day that's not getting done, they're just pulling more people away. Us hardcore dudes, we're going to be there. You know what I mean? But these casual fans that they're trying to pick up with all this ridiculous pitch clocks and bigger bases and all this. See, that's the thing that really drives
priorities right now. This. Priorities.
Yeah,
bigger
where
bases.
Are the priorities? We're worried about the sizes of a base. You know what I mean? We're worried about pitch clocks and universal DHs, and we're not getting down to the serious problems at hand here. I hate it, because they always give you, we agree on this and we agree on that. Great. You agree on a universal DH. What a surprise. We all knew that was coming. You know what I mean? But
it wasn't if, it was when.
Yeah.
I have breaking news.
Stuff.
Wait, what's that?
I have breaking news.
Breaking news.
The MLBPA rejected the league's 3 offers on the international draft resolution and presented its own. The proposal removing qualifying offer this year if parties can't agree to an international draft by November 15th. Qualifying offer returns and reverts to previous international system. But Ken Rosenthal just tweeted, MLB announced more cancellation of the next 2 series. No regular season games until at least April 14th.
There we go.
I lost that bet.
I mean, the writing has been on the wall. It's really sad.
It is.
I'm going out to Texas next month. I was hoping that I'll be in Houston, and the Astros are playing the Blue Jays. I was hoping, just to see Minute Maid Park, and it looks like that ship has sailed. Each day, like you said, Jake, if they keep on holding on, they can't get a deal done. We'll get there. We'll come back just because we're diehards. But the 15-year-old kid, he'd rather be on his phone instead of playing baseball. They have no interest.
Well, they just came up with a big deal with Apple Plus to show games.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right. And at this point, we don't have like a Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa that's going to come out and capture the attention of fans if and when this ever comes down. We don't have Cal Ripken who's about to break a 100-year-old record from one of the all-time greats. We don't have these things on the horizon.
We have Babe Ruth of Shohei Ohtani. We have the Babe Ruth of this century that can play both sides, and no one cares. April 15th, it's just like, okay, well,
it don't matter now. They're not allowed to test the steroids anymore. So I'm sure everybody's going to start hitting the needle again.
I'm going to say this. So
I'm going to hit 70 home runs tomorrow. Hurry up.
So what this effectively does, by the way, just to touch on the breaking news a little bit, this effectively ends any prospect of there being a 162 game season.
Oh yeah, that's obvious.
Officially.
That's right.
But here's the thing.
Unless
they play ball in April.
Unless they do that goofy thing where they play 2 7-inning doubleheaders. I mean,
no, please.
They can't do that.
No. How about the rest of softball game?
Wasn't there a 7-inning no-hitter pitch that year?
Yeah, they don't count.
They didn't count it.
Come on.
They didn't count it.
I thought they did.
No, they don't count it.
Oh, they didn't count it?
They did. Oh, okay. All right. Well, at least they didn't count it. They counted it as a win or a loss, though. That's even worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why they did it was because of COVID. That was why, and they wanted to speed up the game.
I understand. But do you think that they might not do it this time if they decide to come back and the players are like, we still won our 162 games? I mean,
no, they kind of made it well known we're not going to be making up games if we do have to cancel.
Here's the catch. Here's the catch. They don't want to play baseball in April.
No,
the owners don't want to play. You know why? Because if you think about this, the only time you sell out in April is opening day because of the weather.
That's right.
After all the pomp and circumstance of opening day, you get 55,000. What's your next game against Baltimore? The Yankee crowd is 25,000 after that.
Unless you're the Braves, because they're coming off a world championship and they might have a bigger game.
Okay, now here's this one. For you, Jake. Where does Freddie Freeman land now that you said the Braves?
Man, I don't know where anybody lands. I have no idea if we're ever
We
going
can't
to
even
play
think
again,
about that right
quite
now.
honestly.
You know the Rays are involved in that talk now.
Unbelievable. I'll be honest with you, though. I don't think the Braves should get rid of him. I don't think they should be looking at Matt Olson options and all that stuff. I think they should keep Freddie Freeman. I think Freddie Freeman is worth more in Atlanta than he's worth anywhere else. And he's built up some goodwill there. And that guy can hit. I mean, he can hit, man. And I don't know. I really don't know. They're going to have Acuna coming up. Albies coming up. All that young pitching coming up. So maybe it's a financial thing, and they just don't want to spend their money there. They see other avenues they want to spend their money, but I just can't believe that Freeman would let him go. Maybe somebody like the Cubs. I thought the Yankees would be in, but I'm reading today that the Yankees.
I thought the San Francisco Giants would be a good spot for him, just because from California and the right porch of AT&T. I mean, you would be seeing him hitting.
Could you imagine him with the Dodgers with that lineup?
No, that day's not coming.
God. That
day's not coming. But you can't even think about these free agents. You got to get the most important done, and it's this. And say what you want about Bud Selig, and players didn't like him, owners didn't like him, but he would never allow this to happen. He had respect for the game. Hey, we're gonna play 162, whether you like me or not. I'm gonna make sure that we have the best season possible. And same thing with Roger Goodell. When you're a commissioner, the goal is to have a season.
That's right.
A full season. And Goodell, he's the money machine. He's able to bring in revenue. Adam Silver, same thing. I think he's the most respected commissioner. And even hockey, after their lockout 15 years ago, they made progress, getting deals done with TV and the players getting paid a little more. Where baseball, there's just so many red flags. Ironically, it all began when this guy took over as commissioner.
And also, his first biggest error was not punishing the Houston Astros enough. That was his first biggest error.
That's all hearsay there and all that other
That was
stuff.
his first biggest error. The second big error of his was the fact that when Major League Baseball owners and players were going at it before in 2020, when they were trying to come up with a COVID season, it took Rob Manfred weeks to put his foot down and say, all right, enough is enough. And then we had the 2021 season. Fans slowly started piling into baseball fields again. But
slowly because of the stupid rules that were applied, which aren't there anymore, which is a miracle.
Then once the capacity limits came off, the wounds weren't fully healed. That was the problem. The wounds weren't fully healed once the capacity limits came off, and then they implemented this lockout, and now you got players moaning and complaining about the owners. You got owners moaning and complaining about the players, and then Rob Manfred's just kind of sitting there, letting this all happen, and not putting on his big boy pants and just saying enough's enough. Let's get control of this.
He's not a fan of the sport. That's why.
I agree with everything you just said, but I would like to add one more thing, and that is I think it was like 3 years ago, going into the season. We had about 30 top shelf free agent prospects that were not signed until like the third week of,
this is like Machado and Bryce Harper, that free agent class.
The 2019 free agent class.
All these guys, you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, the writing was on the wall right there. Yeah, I knew there was going to be a problem coming up, man, because it honestly felt like there was some collusionary behavior going on amongst the owners there. You saw contracts go down. People weren't being given big time contracts. Now they kind of blew that up with Bryce Harper and Manny Machado with those 10 and 15-year contracts. But
and then you add Mike Trout to it with his extension.
Exactly. Yeah, they did open it up when Mike Trout became a free agent. They opened it back up. They gave some more years, but there was like a time going into that season where like. There was a lot of people that were still unsigned, and I knew a problem.
Yeah, and there's still isn't there free agents from last year or something that still haven't been signed?
Yeah, there's
it's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah, and right now, players are not looking to sign with teams unless this lockout until this lockout.
Yeah, ends. But I know what Jake is talking about, because then didn't somebody sign like right before spring training, a big free agent? Was it Bryce Harper?
Yeah, it was both of them.
I think it was Moustakas. I think it was Moustakas.
Mike Moustakas, yeah.
And look, man, I don't know where you guys stand on the shift, but to me, Mike Moustakas is the face of the freaking shift, man. He plays second base. That guy's a corner infielder if I've ever seen one. Okay, they got this guy at second base now because you know why? Doesn't matter, man. He's got a shortstop that's 4 feet next to him. You know what I mean? Like when Mike Moustakas starts playing second base, you know the shift is bad for baseball.
and what guy started it? Buck Showalter. He started shifting on the Yankees when he was an Oriole manager. He invented that basically, and then everybody just started following suit.
Here's the thing, man. I don't have a
out of control.
I don't have a problem per se with the shift, but I believe outfielders are outfielders and infielders are infielders.
Right.
That's the way it's always been. You look on any baseball card, it says left field, center field, right field. There's no rover position. Rover position is slow pitch softball. I've never seen a lineup that says rover. You know what I mean? So I'm all for. You can keep your shift, man, but 3 outfielders and the infielders got to stay on the grass. That's can you imagine? Just imagine this telling Ozzie Smith, "Hey Ozzie, I want you to move over behind second base, and we're going to let Ken Okerfeld play your position over here at shortstop." It's just silly. It's silly.
The one thing though, when you say about the shift, like Joey Gallo, he made his remarks and saying it's unfair, and he made that one bunt, went down by 2 because there was no one on the left field side. But players that do or against the shift, and again, I don't blame them. It takes away a huge advantage. But you got to show results at the end of the day. You can't be complaining, they're taking away my advantage. You got to find a way.
For me, aesthetically, I don't think it's a good product. I think a lot of balls that used to be base hits are not base hits now, no more. You know what I mean? Because you got 4 outfielders now. And I don't think that's good for the game. The game has become strikeout, walk, home run. Let's get a couple of these base hits in here. You know what I mean? Like these balls should be dropping in for base hits. And Joey Gallo, I know he's getting a lot of grief right now. This guy's a 220 hitter career lifetime. I think his average will probably go up about 5, 6, 7 points. You know what I mean? I'm not really looking at it from a Joey Gallo perspective, but I can tell you, man, there are a lot of guys that get robbed because of that shift all the time. And I just never understood why we started allowing 4 outfielders. I just don't understand that. To me, that's
it got carried away.
Yeah,
it got carried away.
And then there are other people. Yeah, and other people will say, "Well, they're professional hitters; they should know how to hit the other way."
Look, man, there's like 6 guys on the roster that throw 95 or more now. Okay, that was all good in Ted Williams' day when most guys were throwing 89 to 92. Now you got 5, 6 guys on your right. They don't pitch 6 innings. They don't swing a bat. Pitchers are lazy as hell now. They don't do anything but throw 100 pitches if you're good. You give up 3 runs in a slot.
Which is probably one of the reasons why they wanted to add the pitch clock, because they spend so much time on the mound just, breathing in, getting it out, shaking it out,
grabbing themselves.
Well, they do have a pitch. They do have a pitch clock in the minors. Am I correct? Some of the double A and triple A games, they have a pitch clock.
Right. I mean, and they said that those pitch counts have shaved about 20 minutes off the game. I don't care how long a baseball game. That's not a big deal to me. I'm more worried about.
You're a baseball fan. We don't care. This isn't a Broadway show.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I don't have a date. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm here to watch this game to the end. Look, I think, instead of all this window dressing stuff, you got to give to get. I'm not a big universal DH guy, but you know what, man? It's all things are relative, right? So I'll give up the universal DH. You give me back a baseball field that doesn't have 4 outfielders, and okay, we'll call that an even trade. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the way the players and owners need to be. It's just like. Well, first of all, I don't tell you guys, man, everything in this country is divided now, man. That's just the world that we live in now, man. It doesn't matter if it's politics or baseball or whatever it is, man. We're all divided. I got an opinion. Sal's got an opinion. You got an opinion. So, what are you going to do, man? At some point, you have to figure out where you guys agree and start from there, because we all agree on something.
Right.
It's just getting it done at the end of the day. Jake the Snake Robinson, host of the Backwards K-Pod. And the players, when they denied the final offer last week, and they're saying we got to do this for the fans and for the next generation. And, at the end of the day, the owners suck at negotiating. The players suck at negotiating. I mean, Clark is a disaster. And they're saying we don't care for the fans. But if we're trying to save the generation, or we're doing this for the generation, but the generation is not there with baseball like it was for you or me or Matt or Sal back in the day.
Because baseball doesn't put it. I'm sorry, man, but I want to make this known. Baseball doesn't put in the work anymore. Especially you look at how many African Americans are in baseball now. When me and Sal were kids, you had Willie Wilson, Al Bunbury, Ricky Henderson. Every team had Black American ball players, and you just don't see it anymore, and it's a problem. It's a problem. It is. You've taken like speed and defense out of the equation now, and you've kind of marginalized those people have forgotten about them. And
people forgot about small ball, like you said. It's either a strikeout, fly out,
no more Billy ball,
or a home run. And they talked about the balls potentially being juiced and all that, and obviously they took that.
About that either.
No,
I don't care. Juice that ball, man. Juice that ball.
I've said it on the show so many times. I stand by it. Baseball was better with steroids because, like you said, you mentioned McGuire and Sosa, and 3 years after a strike, baseball was back on top. Again, it's not my liver, it's not my kidneys, it's not yours, Jake. Right. If you're getting paid all this money to play baseball and hit the ball 700 feet, people are going to be watching, and people are going to pay a lot of money to go see you.
And they got punished for something MLB told them to do.
Right. Well, I don't know if you guys ever seen the Doc Ellis documentary. It's called a documentary. It's on Doc Ellis, a guy who used to pitch for the Yankees. He also pitched for the Pirates. He was a guy that supposedly took a hit of acid and pitched a no-hitter on LSD, right? But
it's great.
He made a great point, man.
Hang out with after.
He made a great point. He said that, first of all, he said he never pitched a game in the major leagues without being high. And secondly, and just to give a heads up, I'm getting ready to do the Pittsburgh drug trials of 1979 in a couple of weeks. And this kind of, where I'm going right now, kind of ties with that. And so he said not only was he high every day, but everybody on the freaking team was high every day. And he swears there's no way that Babe Ruth and those guys, they didn't do something without some kind of sedation or medication, whatever you want to call it. There's no way. Rickety train rides that would go on for hours, tight cramped spaces. There's no way. People have been doing things for a long, long time in baseball. There's no telling
the hot dogs. We know Mickey Mantle back in the day. We know
that Greenies was a big thing, right? And people always want to say,
they gamble in the clubhouse. They gambled in the clubhouse, so
Brooks Robinson has said many times, Greenies was prevalent. He would take them. They would give him pep. He would give him energy. Well, that's an enhancer. You know what I mean? Cheating's been going on forever, man. Forever. It's always
right. Exactly.
You're always trying to get it. The guy. Look, man. It's very competitive, and there's only the slightest margin between me and this guy at this position. So I'm going to do whatever I got to do to keep an edge on this dude. That's just the way I would look at it.
Oh, I mean, we just saw it in the NFL with Calvin Ridley, who's now suspended for the whole 2022 season.
Yeah.
I've only made a couple parlays. They're sad. It is happening. Calvin Ridley stupidly, did it online and put his credit card information. That's why he got caught. But everything, it happens a lot in all sports. It's not just in the NFL and Major League Baseball. And honest to God, it's going to be going on forever. You're endorsing and advertising gambling and wagering.
It's all legal now. Forget about it.
Yeah, but not in all 50 states.
Yeah,
it's getting there.
It's going to get there. Now you got the two biggest states, New York now and Jersey, and there's a lot of gambling going on, and it's going to happen.
A ton of gambling.
And it's going to happen big out here. You don't think especially if the Yankee game's on, you don't think a lot of those fans in that 45,000 out of 55 are not going to go on that FanDuel or whatever app and bet that game that day? Of course they are.
I've done it.
There you go.
FanDuel, Caesars, DraftKings. There's like a lot of options. There's a big variety now of sports betting sites that you can go on to. This whole thing, people are probably going to be placing bets whether or not we're going to get a season. That's probably going to be something that's going to be on DraftKings or Caesars Sports.
Good point.
That's going to be like the under and over how many games of a baseball season.
You're going to be able to do. What's Judge's home run going to be, and him and Stanton, who's going to hit the furthest? That's all going to happen now, especially if they decide to move Oakland to Vegas. Oh, forget about it.
I think it's funny that that baseball holds such this whole, they hold such this opinion on Pete Rose where like no man, you gambled and all. And look, I don't think there should be gambling in baseball. I really don't. I know it's a different time than 1919, but I don't think we should ever forget what happened. But I also believe, players are making $25, $30 million a year now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I do think it's funny that you hold Pete Rose's feet to the candle about this gambling thing, but now you're advertising, gambling spots and stuff like that. You're thinking about moving into
That's
Vegas.
a good point.
Yep.
It's everywhere now.
That's a really good point.
Very hypocritical. Very hypocritical.
Now, what do you think about, obviously Pete Rose is banned for life, and he should be in the Hall of Fame, especially as time goes on.
Yeah, because we'll never see another hitter like him getting 4,000 whatever hits. You'll never see a guy leading the base stealing like Ricky Henderson. That's all passe gone. There's no guy going to beat Ripken's streak of so many consecutive games, and this guy getting 3,000 hits. That is all over. Nobody's going to beat DiMaggio's record. That's all done. Forget it.
And the worst part on Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen those memes where like most complete games or who was the best home run, right? So I saw one the other day and it was the complete game list, the pitchers that had the most complete game list.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that list will be the same forever. Right. You know what I mean? Like the lowest one on that list was 70 complete games. Well, that ain't happening no more. You know what I mean? And if you throw 5 complete games in a year, holy crap, you're like Cy Young, dude. You know what I mean?
Well, the pitch count too.
Look at these, and if you get a chance to go look at the complete game list, it's never going to change from what it is. I mean, Jim Palmer pitched 222 complete games. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, 211. I mean, you're not going to see that anymore. And
no,
you don't even see 4 in one season these days. And in 20 years ago, you saw pitchers pitching 140, 100. When Roger Clemens got his 300th win, he threw over 130 pitches that game. You're lucky to see a starting pitcher. Why are they getting pulled in the 4th inning now? And Tommy John surgeries are more usual than they were back in the day, and it's less pitching.
I tell you, I think that pitchers have become cowards. They don't, and I spoke to Bill Lee about this once, Spaceman Bill Lee, and he is the last person to get a hit as a pitcher. He hit a ball, I think it was a triple actually, off the Detroit Tigers. And me and him agree, man. He told me, he was like, pitchers are cowards now. They don't have to answer. They can beat anybody they want. They don't no longer have to answer for it in the batter's box. Look, you pitch 6 innings now and you only give up 3 runs. That's considered a quality start. That's a 4.5 ERA. That is hardly quality.
And you got 4 days off on top of that. You just got to show up for work.
4 days off.
Exactly.
It's crazy. The bar.
Ow. Hit my knee. I'm falling apart. I'm even hitting tables in here. It's like when Nolan Ryan was with the Astros. He said, "Get rid of that pitch count. These guys got to throw a ball."
Yeah.
And you'll never see anybody like Nolan Ryan or Tom Seaver or any of these great pitchers ever. Wow. Well, Jacob deGrom, guy's a stud.
Yeah, but he don't throw 9.
Yeah, unfortunately, no. Well, look at Garrett Cole told what's his name, get back in the dugout. I got to finish this game. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And we come from the same era, Jake. And it's like what we saw, we'll never see again. And I witnessed a live no-hitter. I saw Dwight Gooden's no-hitter against Seattle that year in '96. I was fortunate to be there because of the opening day game with the snow with Pettit and the Royals. And me and my friend exchanged our tickets, and it just happened to be that game. And we'll never see good stadiums anymore. Everything is top of the line, club seats, this, that. No more cookie cutter stadiums, turf.
It's funny that you said that. There's only one pitcher in the last 20 years that have 10 or more complete games, and that's James Shields.
Let me guess.
Wow. He had a couple cookies with the Yankees, or was that the other guy?
Who was it?
James Shields.
Wow. I would have thought
2011. And the last person before that was Kurt Schilling in '99 with 12.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The
Right.
bar has been lowered exponentially in baseball. You know what I mean? We've dumbed this down about as much as we can do.
Right.
And, if it's not acceptable by now, I don't know what to tell you.
They need to hire all 4 of us. Let's go.
Let's get in there. We'll get a deal done.
We'll get a deal done. Let's go to Manhattan. We're close.
But Jake, obviously we can go back and forth about this strike and not getting a deal. But me personally, and I've had this take for quite some time, I really don't see a season happening. I really don't see a full, obviously not a full season, but even a shortened year. I think baseball needs to learn, how the National Hockey League had to suffer in 2004. The NBA, they had to lose.
That just made my brain hurt, man. Just the thought, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm the ever eternal optimist who's trying to, see the best in people. I'd like to believe.
Now, they gave us no reason to have any hope.
I know. You're right.
Now.
I can't even argue with what you just said. Everything you said makes total logical sense. I hope that that's not the case, though. I really do. But you may be right, man. It does not look good. At least they're getting in the same room with each other for 16 hours. That's a step.
98 days, we still can't get a deal done. It took 42 days to finally meet in the same room and talk. I don't want to hear about these 16-hour talks and 6 days out of the week. Get a deal done. Get a deal done. It could be taken care of in a short amount of time. Right. It really can. And the one thing that is really painful, when you saw the players last week, right before they turned down the final offer, and you had all the players standing together in solidarity, you couldn't recognize more than 5 players. The average base. If you look in the 90s, you can recognize a Derek Jeter. You can recognize a Nomar or an A-Rod or an Ichiro. You can't even recognize these guys in 2022, other than, I don't know, Bryce Harper, Garrett Cole.
Scherzer.
Max Scherzer.
Maybe Aaron Judge. Maybe.
I feel bad for Met fans. The 1 year they're great on paper. This is such a Met thing or a Met fan thing that happened. They're finally baseball, and
Texas Rangers made a couple of good moves.
They're not there yet, though.
No, not there yet, but they made some big moves. I mean, you got Corey, but
I know that Jack Leiter's going to be pitching up here at Myrtle this year, and I'm definitely, I can't wait to go see Jack Leiter. I'm going to tell you right now, man, Major League Baseball will come back. It don't matter to me. I got a kick-ass podcast show. I got 2 baseball teams near me, and I'll make do. But I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be so mad. There's already, people ready to kill each other in my room. I mean, I gotta separate dudes now. It's crazy. Everything is so divisive, man. It's so divisive.
I hear you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jake, cut a promo and plug for your show. Tell everybody who you are, where they can listen to you.
Thank you, and I appreciate being on the show. It was really fun. It's called Backwards K-Pod. It's available on all platforms, wherever you listen to your pods, or you can go to diamondsnakejake.podbean.com. That's diamondsnakejake.podbean.com. And basically, what it is, it's a show of biographical, educational nature. It deals with the moments, milestones, and personalities that have been woven into the fabric of baseball. I got such stuff in there as the Gas House Gang, George Steinbrenner, Roberto Clemente. We're going to have the Pine Tar. Big Red Machine is coming up. So, basically my vision is to make this show the audio version of Baseball Wikipedia. And that is the vision that I have. Baseball has been great to me. It's given me so much in my life. The only thing that I can ever give back to baseball is my passion and my voice. And that's what this is all about.
And hopefully both sides of the aisle can meet and give you, your satisfaction, with having Major League Baseball.
Exactly. And I keep it, I don't even know what the word is. There's no controversy. There's nothing that you can argue with me and be like, oh, you're a liberal or you're a conservative. I'm just giving you the facts, the stories. There's nothing here to argue about. And it's one of the things I love, man. I'm just so tired of arguing all the time, man. And I just wanted to do something positive. And this has been my outlet, and I hope you guys come and check it out. It's Backwards K-Pod.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and the only Jake the Snake Robinson. Let's give it up for my man. And we'll definitely be doing more things in the future with you, my friend.
Absolutely, Sal. You give me a call anytime, man. I'm always there for you. You know that.
You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, my buddy from another part of the world, Jake. Well, hopefully one day we'll come down and visit.
Yeah, man. Come on down, man. Hang out, man. I'll make some seafood for us. I'm a chef, actually, in my other life. So come on down. I'll take care of you guys.
This guy's a jack of all trades.
All right. Now we're definitely coming.
Myrtle Beach.
Come on down to the island, baby. We got the best seafood around.
You have a great night and great show, brother.
Thank you, fellas. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's awesome. I met him, I think, maybe a couple of years ago when he was doing something for opening day spots.
Yeah.
And I was doing if I'm not mistaken, I did the Met game because I was New York based.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's got a great show. Great guy right there. You can't ask for anything better. Doing it with the old Montreal Expo hat.
No, you gotta love that. That's
love that.
Yeah.
Love that. And hopefully we don't get a duplicate what happened in 94, 95 now.
Oh, we're already there.
Because I'm going to tell you something, and he knows he's from the same, cloth of baseball I grew up in. If that happens, well, there's still a lot of fans from that strike who haven't come back to watch baseball, not for nothing. If that happens again, you'll see more people at these double and triple A games than you'll ever see ever before.
I
really
think
so.
Know. And the one thing that's different compared to 1994 is the negativity in the social media now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which
social media is
kills it even more.
Social media wasn't as big then as it is now.
Right.
And if it wasn't for social media, none of us will be doing what we do now, and especially where you are.
Yeah.
And that, it's taken off big time. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, we want to thank CJ Ming, Shared Universe Podcast Studio. And of course, these gentlemen are here, K-Wall and the Iceman Comet, Matty Ice. Tell them what you do on Tuesday night.
I do my own show, Siriani Says Sports, on YouTube. I put it on Facebook after I do it. I go live every single Tuesday night with my cousin Ryan Barringer Jr. It's a great podcast. We talk about all things sports, baseball, football, and basketball. Unfortunately, hockey is not on the menu, but like
what menu is that? Is that the shortened version menu?
It's the shortened version menu, but we have a great show. It's an hour-long show, and if you're looking for extra content to see me, that's the show. Siriani Says Sports, Siriani Says Sports, no slang.
Tuesday nights talking sports, Wednesday afternoon making business moves. Good job, my man.
Exactly.
And he looks tired.
I actually need to rehash one last thing. I talked about this at the top of the show, but this is going to get edited and put in a video package on social media. Sal and I earlier today met with Outback Steakhouse owner Lee Mazekian and their managers James Kelly, not Jim Kelly, James Kelly and Joe Lancaster. Great guys, all awesome. I've been working for Outback since 2015. Great company, great food,
right?
Great management. Like I said, 90% of the people that I worked with in the past are still there to this day, 7 years later. That just tells you how great management is.
Right.
May 19th.
May 19th is a Thursday night.
Thursday, May 19th. We're going to have a show
we're going to be out in the outdoor patio.
Awesome.
On the outdoor patio. So Thursday, May 19th.
Yep. More details to come, and we'll invite the whole gang. Come one, come all.
Get a blooming onion.
Oh Jesus! I can eat like 3 of them right now. Not at my age. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next Wednesday night. And Carl's got to do his chili thing, or else he's going to be punished. No, he offered to do the chili thing, so we got to go to where do we got to go for that?
Anything with chili right now. You got to go to Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. All right. So, of course, to all our listeners, viewers on Roku and all our social media platforms, we want to thank you again. And as always, New Jersey,
stay classy.
Stay classy. No fighting over them baseball. There's no crying in baseball, damn it.